once the genie was kind of out of the bottle about I can change the way I feel, I consistently chased that every day, whether it was with weed, whether it was with some drinks, but my preferred was pills and alcohol.
Connect with us on the Emotion Wellness Podcast for a transformative journey of human connection. Witness personal stories, improve your mental health education, and acquire valuable resources for optimizing your well-being. And visit emotionwellness.com for more information.
All right, my name is Jason Turner. Welcome to the Emotion Wellness Podcast. I am here with one of my guys, Frank Parisi.
Hello, everybody. We're here.
And we have the honor of speaking with Darren Hobbs today. He is with the Firm Addiction Consulting. His website is thefirmaddictionconsulting.com. Welcome, Darren.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate you having me on.
Darren Hobbs, my brother. Real quick, I have to just mention this. I know this has nothing to do with anything, but we're going to mention it. I have a beard today.
Dude, let me help you out, brother. Okay. I don't know if the medications for your heart have you a little delusional. We don't have a cameraman to zoom in, but those of you, if you are on YouTube and you are watching this, please go to full screen, and I would like you to hone in on Frank's beard. I use that term loosely, and please make a comment if that's a beard or not. I would like to know.
Courtesy of Kathy Parisi. She wanted the beard, so I rocked.
All right. Well, I think you have got 3 more years before it's a beard. I think it's probably another 3 years. We'll get there.
That's a warm-up, though. It's a warm-up. It's a good warm-up.
Hey, listen. I usually clean shaven, but today I left a little.
Hey, it looks good, man. I'm not saying it doesn't look good. It's just not a fucking beard.
Whatever it is.
Like, whatever
I got a little facial hair today, guys. All right. Darren Hobbs. We had to do, and I miss you. I haven't seen Jason in like 2 weeks, so I miss you.
It's been a minute.
It's been a minute. I miss him. So anyway, bro, welcome to the show, dog.
Thank you, man.
It's been a long time since I've seen you.
I know. I think it's been 6 or 7 years.
7 years. It's probably been about 7 years,
6
bro.
or 7 years. But when I met you, I remember looking over and I was going like, man, who is this stout-looking dude in a Yankees get up? And we were at Mark Houston Hall.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And I had been introduced by the phone, and I was like, well, this must be Frank.
Yeah.
Right? So right after I get done speaking, come over, dap each other up, and I was like, man, this is my guy.
Yeah.
And that's
Instant connection.
Instant connection.
It was.
And I followed you ever since, man.
Yeah.
And watching over the last 18 months, 2 years of just what's going on in your life, man, amazing.
Yeah. God is so good.
Lucky
bro.
to have a front row seat.
God is so good, brother. God is so
Where
good.
did we met at, in Mississippi, right?
With that godforsaken place in Mississippi. Yeah.
I'm doing my part to refrain from certain energy, but yeah,
I get it.
But it was great to meet you at that point. And
I was stoked about what you guys had set up there.
Yeah.
And if I remember that day, I was only there for about 30 minutes, and I got a call from my child's mother. My son had wrecked a trike at daycare, and magically the cameras didn't work, but his mouth was a wreck. So I called a transporter. We had rented a car, but we had to drop it off in Tupelo. So I called a transporter to meet me and my BD rep in Tupelo and drive us the whole way home. So we just trucked it all the way up the Natchez until we got to Tupelo.
Yeah.
And then our transporter, roasted us home.
Wow.
Was your son okay?
Oh yeah, he was okay. Couple of tooth fairy envelopes, but he's all right. Early envelope.
Well, awesome, brother. Well, listen, what we want to do is we want to have the listeners kind of know about who is Darren Hobbs, where does Darren come from, and kind of what led you into the space that you're in today, the recovery, the wellness, the intervention. But kind of give us a little bit, because I don't even know, like, who is Darren Hobbs? Where's he come from? What does that look like? What's your life look like, brother? What does it look like?
So I think that the most honest way to say it is I'm a child of privilege. I grew up with 2 of everything. Mom and dad both loved me to pieces. My mom probably loved me a little bit too much. There was never a story I couldn't tell my mama to get out of whatever trouble I just recently gotten in. Dad.
I know your type.
Yeah. I'm the guy I end up putting in treatment at this point, right? Sick mom, sick son. We gotta delineate some of that. Around 14, and I'd always known that I felt different than others. But at 14, I had a knee injury that brought on some pain pills. And I remember those pain pills made me feel cool enough, tall enough, teeth were straight enough, my hair was cooler enough. That phone with the cord, I'm old, so the phone with the cord wasn't so hard to pick up and call her or call one of my boys. My Sega was more fun, the pizza tasted better, the whole thing. And shortly around that time, I realized that if I stole a couple of my dad's beers and had those pills, I was on another level.
Supercharged.
And I think a little bit shortly after that, my parents realized that somehow my pain pills were disappearing a lot quicker than they should. And I don't think anybody really wanted to like pin that tail on the donkey. So we didn't really do much investigating, you know. So as a 14-year-old, I was going through, 90 Vikes in, less than the allotted time. And I didn't know it. Then they just thought I was an asshole. I was going through withdrawal. Right. And so, for me, once the genie was kind of out of the bottle about I can change the way I feel, I consistently chased that every day, whether it was with weed, whether it was with some drinks, but my preferred was pills and alcohol.
Wow. When did you first get hooked on the pills?
That was December of my 8th grade year, so I was just shy of 14.
Wow.
Yeah.
You already had a habit.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
At 14.
Yeah.
And then how long did that last?
I don't think my prescription ever ran out. I got, went through multiple surgeries to get healthy and be able to play ball again, but I always had pain pills on the ready and muscle relaxers. So whenever they were out, I would just tell my mom I needed more.
Wow.
And they'd appear from the pharmacy.
And then how long did that last? How long were you in, so you were taking it from the pharmacy, but when did it become out of control?
I mean, I consistently ran through the allotted meds well before the day, the prescription.
Right.
So, I mean, almost off the jump, I'd go through, a handful a day and then be out and then be in withdrawal and, act out. And my parents just thought I was just a kind of a wild teenager.
Yeah.
How old were you what was the precipitating event, for lack of a better term? What went on internally for you to say, I need to make a change?
It continued losses. For me, the willingness to allow my personal life to get lower and lower and lower and dirtier, as long as I was allowed the option to continue to use, that went on from 14 to 32. And my life got uglier. There was arrests, there was kicked out of colleges, there was horrible relationships, there was crashed cars, trips to rehab. But the thing that got my attention was sitting in jail. This is April of 2010, and I'd been arrested on some big boy drug charges. I had I think 41 separate gram bags in which are all felonies in a school zone, downtown Nashville, and I was stuck. I was looking at the way they could charge it. I was looking at a murder charge, so I'm looking at 16 to 20 years because I was already a felon on the books. And my family said, "We love you. We don't like you anymore, and we're not willing to watch you die." And that was it. They told me that I was dead to them. And, they hoped the best for me, but they weren't willing to watch. And the one time in my life my father has ever mentioned God, after that conversation, my dad wrote me a letter and he said, "Son, I love you, and we've been trying to fix you for 15 fucking years. Maybe God can help you now."
Oh, wow.
And I read that and I'm like, what a hypocritical motherfucker. Like, you've never talked to me about God. And I ripped that letter up and I threw it in the trash. And I'm still, this is a few weeks into my stay, and a couple more weeks go on and I'm like, I'm still so delusional. You know how we are when we're so sure that something's going to work out because of this this entitlement that I've become used to over the years. Like, I remember going to the guard one night at mail call, and I'm like, hey, man, where's all my mail? He's like, dude, you ain't got no mail. Nobody knows you except your mama. And then I thought, yeah, man, and my mom's not even speaking to me, you know? So that was like, I find myself, I'm at the very front of this pod in the jail. It's almost lights out, and it just feels like the lights go out, but the spotlight's on me. I'm like, oh shit, man, I'm alone. Mm-hmm. By my own making, I've burnt every bridge that's ever been sweet to me. And here I sit, and I'm going to take this ass whip until they're tired of giving it. And that's all there is to it. And so I go, my bunk is in the far back to the right, and there's a tiny window, and it's A63. That's my bunk number. And I go back there, and I'm about to start crying, and that's not really what you want to do in jail. Mm-hmm. So as I'm approaching my bunk, I pull this slick move, like I'm going to pull my shirt up so I can pray in quiet. And I don't pray. I just hit my knees and I just start crying. And I cry every tear that I had. And at that point, I didn't even know I could. I didn't even know I had any emotion left. And what I got to was, God, please come in this. I know you can't change these walls. I know you can't change the noise. I know you can't change my sentence. But please come into me and change me so that one day when they let me out, I won't be the same sorry bastard that walked in. And then I had this. I was about done, and I thought I could, pull it together. And I thought, well, hey man, I'm down here. I may as well pray. And I think I said like a Sanford and Son version of the third step prayer, right? Like, I know I'm not supposed to pray for myself, but if you give me a chance to get over my difficulties, I'll try to do something that honors you. I'll show them where I got good, and that was it. And so I remember going to sleep that night, and it was the most easily I'd fallen asleep in that whole first. I'd been there probably 6 weeks at that time, and I wake up the next day, and a former treatment counselor of mine had written a note saying he wants to come see me, and so that's great. He wants to come see me. I got one friend, right? But the trick is you got to have a phone number to be able to register the guy to come, right? So I don't have his number. So how's this gonna work? A couple of days go by, and a guy gets his ticket pulled, and he's like, "Hey, who wants this blue book?" And I knew that blue book was the big book of Alcoholics Anonymous. So I run up to it and I'm grab it like I'm walking to like an old lady walking to The Price is Right. I need that book, and I open that book. Larkin Lore, 615-613-1599. That's the number I needed.
That's dope.
Wow.
And that man became my sponsor behind bars. And from that moment, the number of small miracles that happened during that incarceration to getting off the airplane today to come see you guys, the number of small miracles that have only been put in my life as providence and grace. I can't count them. And I don't deserve them, And so I forget sometimes just how fortunate that I am. Oh. But when you first ask who is Darren, man, I'm the luckiest dude that's ever walked. I believe that. When times are good, I'm the luckiest guy. When times are bad, man, I was dreaming. I didn't have enough creativity to dream for the problems that I got today when I'm sitting there paying for what I owed. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, perspective is the most powerful drug I've ever found.
Oh, yes. What a great story, bro. I love that. I love that. I really do. Thank you for that.
I love your parents, the way they phrased it. And I was helping a friend of mine earlier today who his mom's in treatment, and he's the financial support. Mm-hmm. And it's all new to him, and was asking me questions and trying to share with him, like, anything you do that doesn't support her wellness is subsidizing her illness. But the way your parents phrased it, like, we're not willing to watch you die. That hit me today. So
I think my mom threw in a line like, "We're tired of your drama."
Yeah.
Well, we're like emotional terrorists.
Yeah.
That's what we become, right?
Yeah. And, it didn't hit me So that whole learning experience, I mean, I had to get miserable enough because I was looking at 12 to 20. I had to get miserable enough to realize that like nothing I'm doing in this life works. So I got to find like all those guys in AA, they were right. You know, I'd been fortunate to be put in treatment and to meet good men in recovery and that tried to show me. I just was never sure that I had to do it their way. I could just, you know, half measures. I'd go to a meeting, but I don't know about step 2.
It's funny how pain becomes that touchstone, you know?
Yes. And even with like families that we work with and we encounter now, like pain is the teacher.
Always.
It's a gift.
Pain's the teacher.
It's also a gift.
The greatest gift, brother, when you look at it as a lesson.
And the gift of desperation that we can get when we are just kind of frozen in there, like, I got to wear this ass whipping that life's got for me right now. There's no way to shake it off. I just got to get through it. And I have to like honestly like take a bite out of it every day.
Yeah.
And I mean, there ain't nothing like it, you know? And so like phase 2 of that, phase 1 was like that evening, right? And I kind of warm up into, you know, getting into the court process. And sure enough, my attorney gets me a decent deal. So instead of looking at 12 to 20, he gets me the 3 to 8 range. Well, then that gets, but I get to believe in that, right? Well, I ended up getting bumped to the 8 to 12 range, but he got me out. He got me a deal for a year, day for day, but I'd have to do 12 on super secret parole. Meaning if I screw up once, I go back and I start the 12 locked up and there's no takebacks. But I knew off the rip, if I don't stay sober, I'm going to break the law anyway, and I'm better off dead. So most people sitting in jail wouldn't take that deal, but I knew it's the only deal for me, right? So I take the plea, and then that's probably like almost even money 6 months in. I got a year day-to-day to serve, and so they moved me across the street to a prison, from jail to prison, which is actually an upgrade. You get a pillow, and you get your own baggies full of Kool-Aid, you know, so you can mix your own purple Kool-Aid. That's cool, you know, a little bit more air conditioning. But I got in a fist fight right after I got there. And that, going to pay for that was going into solitary. It was me in a skinny wall. Like it was, I don't have a big wingspan, but it was maybe a little bit wider than that and maybe a few feet longer. And that to me was the first time there'd been no noise and no distraction. And I really got to sit at home with how much time have I stolen from my mom and dad? How much energy have I taken from them? How many people did they hide from at the grocery store because they didn't want to answer the question, how's Darren doing? You know, like how many like just crazy small variables have I murdered their life for years and years and years and not even had the gall to think about it, you know? And so I think I sat there for like 46, 47 days and that's what I did. I got to think through that stuff. And it was rough, man. But it was like a good rough, you know, and it made me want to know them as people. And instead of my problem solvers and my bankers and my social workers, you know. And at some point during this time, my dad sent me a letter and said, he talked to me on Sundays at 4:00 if I was positive. And so I tested him out on that. I called him Sunday at 4:00 and I started bitching. He hung up on me. And so I called him the next time. He said, "We gonna be positive?" And I said, "Yes, sir." And so that's how my dad taught me how to be friends.
Oh, man.
Father's job's never done, right? So I was 33 years old. He was 63, right? He's 30 years older than me. He taught me even then, like this is how we're gonna do it, you know? And we use that paradigm now for how to communicate. We're not going to listen to bitching and moaning. And sometimes now I get to hang the phone up, you know?
I love that, dude.
With love.
Oh, man. Me and you are like that. Me and him don't complain.
We don't hang up on each other, but yeah. Maybe I'll try that though.
But you know, I look at that entire episode of where, you know, I got removed from the opportunity to continue to do chemicals that were going to kill me. And even actively, like when I was first there, I'm like, man, how can I get enough bleach to just die right now? I don't want to live through this shit. I was spared from figuring out how to do that. And I was just led, man. Like I got enough, like, with getting the letter from my buddy Larkin to figuring out his phone number. I was delivered like these hope snacks along the way, and like, I don't know, I got drafted. Like it's the only way. I'm just fortunate. There's so many people. Like I look at it like there was 104 people in my pod. How come they didn't get the grand dice roll to get a phone number and to get a visit from a positive friend and like help pull them along?
Why do you think that is?
I don't know. I think if I had to guess, it's one, it's just grace, and two, I'm supposed to be loud about where I got the water that put my ass out. I was on fire, and so I'm supposed to point to where I got the water.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Men in recovery that God sent my way.
Yeah, well, awareness, right?
Yeah,
you were awake to it.
Yeah,
finally, right?
Yeah.
So what led you down? Like after jail, what did the life look like when you came out?
Life after. So my sponsors.
You're like 30 what now?
I'm 30. I got out at 34.
Bro, you're like me. I got sober at 31.
No, 33.
I was 31. I got sober. Same thing. Same, very similar. Go ahead.
So I got out at 33. My sponsor very much involved in like, hey, what do you need? Let's go to a meeting. Let's get in the book. But his wife was actually a therapist, and his wife took an interest in me, a wholesome interest in me. Her name is Katie. And so she started I lived in a halfway house that was really close to where like a multi-use development that her family owned, and she had office space in. And so she started to pick me up to take me to the gym and teach me about nutrition and fitness early on. And one morning she overhears me on the phone talking about she's coming to scoop me for a workout, and she hears me talking about the bugs that are in our refrigerator, and that the halfway house, the light bill hadn't been paid. And she said she lets me finish, and she's like, "Hey, you're going to move in my spare office tonight, and we're not going to tell anybody." And I said, "Okay." And so she had this therapy office with an extra 10 by 10 room, and I don't think she told her co-tenants that she was doing it. She just told me, "Hey, you got to be gone by 6 a.m. and you can't come back till 8." And I was like, "Cool, that's great." So I worked for that development. So I was like the toilet cleaner and the trash taker outer during the day. And then there was a restaurant that had a recovery guy that was one of the owners. And so I ran food at night. And then, I'd go to meetings. And I did that. I saved up some cash, and was going to get my first apartment with a guy I'd met at the halfway house. So we move in, and day one, this guy's smashing pills on the table, and I'm like, man, like I don't have any more money. I can't make a new decision. So my best idea was like, I could just whack him and hope he leaves, or not, or just deal with it. But then what if I get high? I'm going to jail, and this is like God looking out for me in ways that I can't. So the next day, my dad happens to call me. I'm on my lunch break, and he's like, "Hey man, what are you doing?" And he could tell like something was off with me, and I told him, and I said I'm not trying to give you this problem, but here's what I'm looking at. And he said, "Well, we got one choice." I said, "What is it?" He said, "I'll be there in 30 minutes." And so that was my dad allowing me to come home. I said, "What about mom?" He said, "I'll deal with mom." And that deal had always been backwards. Like, mom will have the idea and then sell it to dad. But he was convicted. He was like, don't you worry about mom. She's going to be all right. Mm. And so in that moment.
Oh, beautiful.
In that moment, I got to go home.
Beautiful.
And it was more than just like a place to be. It was that they saw that I was trying. Mm. You know what I mean? And for the first time, they could actually see that I had given a shit about my future, And so it was amazing, dude. It was just one more of those hope snacks. You know, I got to go home and I got to be mindful enough to respect what they were doing for me. I cleaned the dishes. I bought groceries. You know, I said thank you. I didn't make noise like an asshole, you know. And, you know, my dad would drive me to work and I'd give him gas money until I got my license. And then, you know, out of nowhere, I was able to buy a car, you know. Things just started happening for me that I can't account for. But it's the kindness of other people.
Oh,
it was amazing.
I love it, bro. It's so true.
So true.
It's so true.
Like,
You know,
we cannot ever, I've never been able to account for kindness that ends up with my name on it.
bro. When I was in the hospital, I don't want to talk about me, but I love you today for this because I feel what you're saying. But I was at my lowest point in life, bro. And like when that is, it's so true. Life is a mirror. And as I smile in the mirror smiles back. And like when you're down, when you start to give that love to others, you get it back. That's how life goes. When you're just kind, thank you, you're welcome, hello, like please. Simple little things that we talk about, the words. It's true. But it's so beautiful, dude. Thank you for that, brother.
Yeah, man.
Honestly.
Yeah. Let me, like, it's been so long since I've told this story. It's like I get to feel it.
Oh, I felt it with you.
I get to feel it talking about it.
Yeah, I felt you, and I felt that energy, bro. It's beautiful. It made me think about me, and it's just so true. It's so true. How beautiful. So, okay, awesome. What does it look like now? Like, okay, after the year, now you're living with your parents. What are you gonna do? Like, where does work go? What is Darren doing now?
So that was a really short stop with back at my mom and dad's house. And
how was the experience? Was it healing for you, like to go through that?
We left on super 1,000 terms. Mom, dad, me, all of us, like group text, sit down for meals, like stuff we'd never done because I was always like causing division.
What did that do for your like internal, like that healing?
I mean, I left when I left my mom and dad's house after that episode. I felt like I had never known my dad as well as I did then. And since then, we've only become closer.
Amazing.
You know, because I think like, you know, he's from the old school, like, Darren, you don't have a drug problem, you just need to work harder. You know, and that used to make sense back in their day. Right. You know, he was raised by a World War II guy. But, you know, a short stop with them, I began working for my sponsor's wife she'd opened a women's program, kind of higher end sober living. And she'd allowed me as kind of an unpaid intern to watch the business side of it with an eye on us possibly doing amends. And so when the time came, she made me a deal. She was like, hey, if you go do a couple weeks on site and do some family of origin work, I'll send your dog to training and we'll open amends together. I'm like, touchdown, let's do it. So I go to on-site. Roscoe goes to Shepherd School, and we open this property about a month later. And that was my entree into working in treatment. I'd had a couple of really bad episodes in sober living before I'd like made it to, you know, an apartment. And so I kind of knew some things I'd want to do different, you know, starting with like being honest and like charging fair money for services that actually get provided. And,
you don't say.
You know, not stacking 19 double beds in a bedroom.
Right.
So, yeah, we did it. We did it legit. We housed it with I think we had 6 beds. We had 2 house parents. I was the kind of the day guy. I would do all the admission stuff and the BD stuff and the program stuff and supervise the staff, and it was just awesome. It was a management role for a person that I didn't even know how to keep a calendar at that point. So it was a great learning experience for me. And the place took off. We grew. At some point, I got invited by a local interventionist, a female interventionist, to kind of be just a heavy male voice in a room. And I didn't even know what intervention was. And so I said, sure. She told me she'd give me a couple $100. I said, sure. What time do you want me? And so we go in, and the backstory here is this was a young man who had he's a high school kid, and he was his mother was at home dying in hospice of cancer. And this kid was so sick that he was stealing his mother's care meds as she was dying. And so mom passes, kid's drug problem gets worse. And the lead interventionist, myself, a brother, and the father, we go up to this kid's room, and I'm the guy that makes the entry. I tell him while we're there, and he looks up and he says, "Daddy, what took you so long?" And right there, I was like, holy shit. If I can be part of conversations like this that bring so much healing into a family, this is all I want to do for a living. That's it. So at that point, I just abandoned myself. I read books. I apprenticed for a couple of known interventionists, went to trainings. A year and a half later, I was on my own. And that was it, man. Like that's all I ever want to do.
How long have you been an interventionist now?
I've been solo now for 10, 11 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And you know Jamie Vance, I think is who actually introduced us. He and I were...
Jamie Vance. I know Jamie Vance.
Yeah, you know JV.
Yeah. Out in Cali.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, did a lot of work in California.
He did,
but
with
lives
Northbound.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
He moved.
And, well, he's always been a Nashville guy.
Nashville, right. Journey Pure.
Yep. He was one of the guys
Yeah. Journey Pure. That's right.
So Jamie was my workout partner for a lot of years, and I'm telling him, like, man, I'm gonna become an interventionist, and I'm gonna do this and I'm gonna do that. And he said, "Well, what are you doing about it?" And I said, "I'm making a plan." He said, "You need to fuck your plans and burn the fucking boats." And I said, "Burn the boats?" And he went over to my whiteboards. He said, "Yeah, write burn the boats right now." And so I wrote "burn the boats." And he said, "You call me this afternoon after you've gotten with LegalZoom and you've got a tax ID." And that's what I did. He told me to burn boats. I didn't know there was a cool story about conquistadors and a battle and a bunch of deaths and rum. I just thought my buddy was giving me a challenge.
Yeah.
But we burned the boats.
Phenomenal.
Yeah.
I love that. Yeah, people have asked me, like, what did it take to pull this off? And I'm always like, everything plus a gram. And what was your backup plan? I'm like, there is no backup plan. It's all in. Like, literally burn the ships was, and it's usually misinterpreted. Like, they think the Vikings used to burn ships. They really didn't. But like, it has a cool story to it. But for me, it was a visual, like, I'm all in. Like, and it was the first time, and that took me, I was 46 when I got to that point. I was almost 20 years sober.
Yeah.
I just had a long history of imposter syndrome and not feeling good enough and that kind of stuff. So I did some work, and that was what we were talking about earlier, the story work, and I just relate to that, going all in on myself. That's what this place was. It was the first time in my life I said, I'm going. Like, I'm worth it. I deserve it. I'm good enough, and it's all on me. And that can be a lot of pressure if you're not prepared for it. I mean, it's a lot of pressure, but it can be overwhelming if you don't consider yourself worthy.
Right.
And so I knew I had responsibility, and then, you start having staff that depend on their paychecks, and you start, contributing to a community economic system, and you start to become this thing. And it's like, if you're not good with yourself, I'll do what I always do, which is take a grenade, pull the pin, drop it, and walk out the door. You know what I mean? So
right.
I really appreciate that. Yeah. Cool story.
Yeah. Amazing stories. Yeah. I love it. So let me ask you, what does it look like now? Like, where are you now? What's going on? What's it been like currently for you? How's the past, because I know you talked a little bit, what's the past couple of years look like for you?
You've been
doing a lot of stuff. I mean, we've seen you on the show Intervention. You have your business. What's going on personally for you in the past?
So I'll say, I think the most important thing probably the most poignant thing for me, just to be like honest and transparent, because I don't think much of guys in our space that struggle and can't share. You know what I mean? Like, I think our struggle is much of our value.
Vulnerability,
right?
brother.
Because like, we don't like graduate and go to like the superhero league.
No, you don't.
You know what I mean?
It never ends.
We just learn to like speak when we need and to ask for help, And
yes,
I was a couple years ago, I was to the point where things were getting really dark. My mother had passed. I took a couple of losses in business. After successfully selling a handful of businesses, I took a couple of losses and had a lot of ego tied up in that. And then my mother passed. And it was not there was no like lead up to it. It was just a phone call. Hey, you got to come over. Mom passed away. And I don't think I would have ever been prepared, you know? So from that point, that's like mid-August, a year and a half ago. And so I go dark, man. I go real dark. And the only thing that I did really, really well in that time was make sure that, you know, I was present with my son. I get him every other week for the week. And, man, I put the phone up. I'm present. I try to be in his life, you know, as well as I can be. And, you know, I during that time, I didn't take care of myself the way I know how to, spiritually, mentally, emotionally, and it all led to, you know, the truck that I drive around every day. This truck that I've invested in for years, you know, the wheels are starting to fall off. Now the transmission doesn't want to work. The fluids are bad, right? And you know, it really hit me that the way I was treating my physical body was really indicative of the way I was treating most of my life, you know? And I didn't, it also dawned on me like, hey, like I didn't get sober to live this way, you know? And so I sat there, like I could say that, and I could say, yo, Frank, hey, I'm struggling. I'm not willing to do anything about it right now. I'm not sure how to do anything different, but I can tell you I'm struggling, right? And then things got real dark for me. So my son, like I said, was with me. He's always with me Monday to Monday, and so there was a few weeks in December of a year ago where I'm thinking, okay, I'm gonna make it through the weekend. I'm gonna get him back to his mom, and then I'm gonna do myself on Tuesday, because maybe if I do it on Tuesday, it won't upset him as much, you know, because he'll have more time to like grieve through it. My thinking's fucked up, right? Yeah. And I'm really trying to rationalize the fact that his mom's a great mom. He won't miss me.
Wow.
And wow. You know, at the way I was feeling, I just didn't think I could, like, there was no future. There's no future in my front. You know that old song. There's no future in the what I'm doing. I can't imagine aging like this. And so I started to make bullshit make sense, right? And there's just one day, it's a Sunday, and we're having a ball. You know, I got half my brain going like, yeah, I'm like 36 hours from putting a 9mm in my skull. And the other half, the other screen of my whole deal is I'm dragging my son through the house, and we're, you know, on a sleeping bag, and we're trying to set a world record to see how fast we can go, you know? And on like one of the last turns, kind of nicks a finger, and it's you'd think he was going to die. And so we slow down the party and scoop him up, and I put him on my bed, and I lay with him, and I get him calmed down, and I just have this like overarching thought, like I'm looking. It was like I'm like in the, you know, kind of floating, looking at me, hold my little boy, going, man, he just hurt a finger and thought his life was over. How could you leave this child? And that was it. That was it. Like, okay, I'm no more nines, no more thought about that. We got to figure some shit out, you know? And so, you know, it was a slow regain life. So I got to go to an on-site, and talk through some of that. That was, you know, the worst of it was in December. I got to go offload some of that in February and pick up back into therapy and get back level, you know. But then like the slower parts, like learning how to eat well again and take care of my body again, and making sure that, you know, I'm setting good examples in the kitchen and in the gym for him. I mean, 7 years old, he picks up everything I do, you know. So like, who am I as a dad? Who am I as a man? Because he's always watching. The tape's always running, you know, not just, hey, don't listen to this part. The tape's always running.
Always.
And so it's like getting back to that level of authenticity where I go, hey, it doesn't matter what I can get away with. It matters what I teach him by showing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes, I do.
Because that's, I mean, if I get eaten by a shark tonight before we go to dinner, he's going to know what to do.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And I could, you know, at the end of the day, man, I couldn't have him thinking like my dad didn't love me enough to stay.
No. Thank you for sharing that, bro.
Yeah, man. It's the first time I really told that story.
I love that, brother.
How old are you right now?
47.
And how long you been sober?
It'd be 16 this year.
It's wild to me, the amount or the quantity, the frequency of people between 15 and 20 that end up in that scenario. Men that end up in that scenario. I was there 2.5 years ago, 3 years ago. 18 years sober, Whataburger parking lot. I don't have children, or I didn't even have a dog at that time, so I was at really high risk, and I had a dream for this place, but was totally broke and no options. And divine intervention happened yet again, right? One of those moments. And it put me on a path, man, of it took me 9 months, but I wrote myself a check for the money I needed to invest in this place. Had no idea where it was going to come from. And then like 12 weeks later, I cashed that check, and it was significant, you know, a huge amount of money. And I was doing story work, and I basically put myself in rehab. It was my own protocols, but like I was like up at a certain time, you know what I mean? And the thing that happened for me was, and I'm just sharing as a way to say, man, when I say I get that, I get it probably more than most, just because it was so recent, you know. 2 years isn't a really long time. I was laying on a friend of mine took me in. I mean, that's how bad it was. Like, just busted. I got my car and it's paid off, and that's it. You know what I mean? And I'm doing one of those. You see the pictures on social. Sometimes it's like for men who are starting over. Like, there's a mattress on the floor, and like, you know, like it's an empty. That was my life. That was where I was at. And I remember it wasn't a voice, because I'd like to say that, be all dramatic, but it was a thought process. It was a stream of consciousness that came through, and it was. You've said a few things today that have really reminded me of it. It's, dude, nobody's coming, brother. Like, nobody. Like, and nobody fucking should. You know what I mean? Like, that was the thing that followed next, was like, it has to be you. And I didn't know if I wanted that responsibility, because I had made such a mess of my life at 18 years sober, and I got a victim mentality that was like, it's not supposed to be this way. I did 18 years of the thing I was supposed to do. You, God, were supposed to like make it happen for me. And it was like, no, dude, like you made choices and you weren't specific and you didn't address, like, it was just and it wasn't all like I made these choices calculatingly. There were a lot of them were on a subconscious level, right? Like you just, the subconscious drives it, and that story, that family of origin stuff and all the other things that we deal with. But man, you just like brought me back to a time in my life where I'm super grateful, perspective, that I'm not there. You know what I mean? So it's wild.
Amazing. I love the vulnerability, the honesty, the authenticity.
So today, where you sit, how internally, like your internal, the temperature internally, how are you?
Like I've read recently. It's funny you just mentioned, but there's nobody coming. Like, if not me, then who? You know what I mean? Nobody's coming to take care of my client families if I decide I'm going to the lake. You know, nobody's going to find my next clients if I'm not going to do that. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like, nobody is going to take care of my stuff. Like, it's either I take action or my life sucks. Mm-hmm. I mean, life can get scary, you know? And, you know, like I don't live in like a magical world full of $1,000 bill trees. So like I have to be valuable, and I have to be about it, and I have to be out in the community. You know what I mean? Or ramen noodles. Yeah. You know, that's it.
And people, there's a lot of people out there who I don't think, because they don't have that experience, but I'm grateful you're talking about it, because I'm just coming off of a stretch of, and I'm observant of myself nowadays. I have a good base, right? I'm not in that decompensated state. And I haven't been close to that at the Whataburger place, but I went through a real low recently, and where everything felt, and there was some hormonal stuff going on and some other things. I'm about to be 49, so I'm, I'm getting up there. And the entrepreneur game, there's a lot to be said on it on social media or whatever, but for me, it's both. It is lonely and absolutely abundant with connection, right? But there's these moments where it is so isolating and so scary, and my head will tell me, like, similar to before I got sober, like, I'm the only one who thinks like this, or this, I'm not good enough because I'm having this experience. And then I hear somebody like you. We didn't have the connection in the way that I could just call you. I mean, I'm sure you would take my call, but like we didn't have that prior to you coming here today. So I reach out to people in my life, and I'll talk to people who are wildly successful and done the entrepreneur game, who are like, yeah, dude, like, welcome to the club. This is the journey. Like, yeah, like, this is normal. And the minute I find out it's normal and someone brings it into my field, I'm like, oh, I can breathe again. Right. Yeah. Like, oh, okay. So this is part of the process. And learning to embrace that stuff and learning to understand that radical accountability and full responsibility is the only way I want it. But in those moments, sometimes I forget. I'm like,
Well, I've been fortunate, extremely fortunate over these last couple of years, where I've had a couple of good buddies that we can go heart to heart at any given time, where we're sharing like what's real, know. And these guys, I've had some kind of self-imposed financial difficulties over the last couple of years, but nothing that like was going to be a deal breaker, right? Like, it was more like, hey, you blew some money, you could have been more intelligent. Next time you're up, you need to make sure you're up, right? Yeah. Well, I got these two buddies over here, and they're talking about, man, I'm down to like my last $17, and I got a check coming that I hope comes Friday. And like that's God doing for me. Like, he's like, God's letting me see that. Like, hey buddy, that's what's next for you.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. That's what's coming next for you. So put your helmet on, and like, these two dudes, like, I mean, they're just gangsters. For one, the openness to share. Yeah. But two, just like, man, like, I don't know if I'd be that tough. Like, if I'm down to $17 and I got to take my kid to school, like, man, I just don't know if I've got that kind of marbles. Like, because there's nobody coming.
Yeah.
Like, I am the backup.
Yeah.
And if the backup goes broke, where are we at?
Yeah, it's all the more reason. Frank talks a lot about swords being sharp and just sharpening the sword and reps and sets. You know what I mean?
And bro, here's the deal. Here's the utmost reality. Bro, we worry about things and nothing really matters. Like, it matters right now, but we're in so much fear of like stuff that doesn't exist. We make it a reality, and the reality is we are in something right now, this experience, but we are not like what we have been told, bro. And we are creative beings. And when you could step back and really understand that you're the player, ready player one, and you're a creative being, and you're here to like evolve, elevate, create, and serve, and that's the sole focus, the game of life becomes a lot more fun because you're not as attached to everything. And I've only experienced that through what I've gone through. And I still get off course. And the beautiful thing about me and him is that if one of us start complaining about something, immediately we say, shut it down. Right or wrong? Yeah. We shut it down immediately, and it's only about solutions, creation, evolution, and elevation.
It's that old school like 12-step thing, where it's like, how's that working for you?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Is that going to help you today?
We can sit here and bitch and moan all day, or we can figure it out.
It's like, Darren, I was in the hospital, and they came in, and they said, you might need a heart transplant, and you're going to get your chest cut open. I could have fought that, or I could accept it and look at, well, what's next?
Yeah.
And the quicker that I've gone through so many like life experiences in the past like short time that would cripple most people. But the sooner you could say, I accept this exactly for what it is, because I'm not attached to anything anymore. So I accept it for exactly what it is. What's next? I even teach my kids that when I coach the football team, flag football. I said, I don't care if we win or lose. You put your 110 in, and then I don't care what happened in the play. It's what's next.
Right. Next play.
Next play, bro.
Right.
Wins or losses in business, in life. It happened. It's over. There's nothing you could do. You don't go back. You didn't watch a football game. It's first down. They're going to look at first down again. Second down. First down's over. Second down. Exactly. Let's go. Put the helmet on. Let's go. Doesn't matter. And that's the mindset, bro. And we don't die. We don't die. We're spiritual beings. You know that. We're in this body. You're not even Darren Hobbs. They gave you the name. Right. So have fun with it. It's like I always tell people, you play video game. You're not attached to the video game. Take a step back from your body. You don't be attached to everything here. Right. You know what I mean?
We need reminders too. I think that's the part about, accepting the radical accountability and responsibility leads me in a way sometimes to think the asking for help part is not what I'm supposed to do. Because I'm supposed to have this answer. I'm supposed to, you're
supposed to be the river of solution because look, I'm Jason and I've created all this shit.
Well, yeah, and not so much that I've created it, more that I just have a lot of responsibility, right? And I forget that I'm really supposed to and have the opportunity, and I get to, right? I've forged these connections and relationships that are of way higher frequency today and value that I can reach out to people and say, this is what's going on. And release it, right? Whereas because, when you're the decision maker, and I don't know if you have a team or not, but like when you have to make the decisions for the team, and I'm sure you've been there if you're not there currently, it's like you're supposed to have the answer. But okay, I need to have the answer for you, but I also need to seek answers from other people, and thank God I'm not always the smartest person in the room. You know what I mean? Like I love that aspect and I'm totally accepting of it. It's just, I guess the point I'm trying to highlight is in the moment it can get lost, just like perspective can get lost. You end up elevating to a new place. Perfect example, Whataburger parking lot, about to do this thing. And then fast forward a year later, I'm pissed off that I got to mess with United Healthcare because of the way they operate. And I pause in the moment and I tell the story a lot. I'm like, dude, if you had this problem when you were in the Whataburger parking lot, I wouldn't have been in the parking lot. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I would have been like, this is awesome. Like, give it to me. And so being brought back to that truth in that moment is really refreshing, because this thing, I don't think it's out to get me. I used to hear that coming up in the rooms, but it has liabilities. You know what I mean? Like my head has, if I stay there too long, it has a lot of liabilities. It also has a lot of gifts. I'm not saying that from a bravado standpoint. It's just that it's done a lot for me, and it's kept me alive. But man, I know it can create a
of course, but then you got to tune back in, and it's like that's part of the whole human experience, bro.
Absolutely.
But the thing that is most important that people don't understand, and I have to always break it down, that I've learned more than anything, because I've had ups and downs in business and in life and all this other bullshit, but the reality is your true currency is your frequency. And like, if we truly looked at that, and our true wealth is our health. And if we operate in that mindset, that's where true abundance takes place. Right. When we observant of self, whether when I'm around you, how is it supporting my higher self? Am I in a higher vibration? Being aware of that, aware of myself around my surroundings, aware of myself when I'm alone, seeing. But that's why I set throughout the day also times to reflect. I take those because we sometimes work 18-hour days. So it's like, how do you do that? Like, I'm also dad and husband and business and my personal, my habits, it's like, how do we do that? Well, I got to take that time throughout the day to pause and sit and ground and reflect to get back at it.
Yeah. Right.
Do you know what I mean? To stay in frequency, because recently I just been traveling and I got back home and it's like sunny and biz and this and boom and it's like, and now I'm being pulled in directions because I didn't sit and take care and honor myself and be in my good frequency. And when I'm staying in that good frequency, my life is so much better. It doesn't even matter what's going on. Right. Like, the external world doesn't matter because I'm in a better vibration. And that is the hack to this game of life, in my experience. And that creates the external, for whatever that's worth.
No, it's great. I mean, it comes from people that I have connection with on a regular basis, but I'm also open to the experiences as they unfold. And my experience with you today was exactly that, which was like really thank you. You know what I mean?
Brother.
Thanks for being here.
Oh, amazing.
Thank you guys.
Hearing you talk about the stuff that you mentioned, and it's interesting. I'm not taking credit for it. This room, I feel like you talked about these moments, right? Like the book had the phone number, and we take action. I have no idea. Like my little brain goes, oh, it'd be cool to have I didn't ever want to do a podcast. Like I don't want to be the guy on camera. Like I had to grow into that. Mm-hmm. My thought was like, oh, this would be a great way to support the business. And I was actually going to force someone else to be the guy who I was just going to do the studio part. And what I've discovered and I've noticed is this podcast room, the conversations that happen in here, they all tend to follow a very similar feeling, where people say a lot like what you just had, never said that before, or like there's this energy, right? It just and I feel like that's why it came about. It's not about like, I don't even know, views, all that kind of stuff. Like that doesn't matter to me. It's like the experience. Right now I'm so tuned in to you. You know, you were talking about this is my life. Like this is what I get to do, and this is my life. Like I get, like, this is what my job right now, like my employment, right? Like my profession has me having this experience. Mm-hmm. Holy shit.
Yes.
The last point I want to make,
cool part.
because the thing that I read a book and I recommend it to everybody. It's called The Gap and the Gain.
Oh, great book.
The Gap and the Gain.
A great book.
Okay. The premise is
great book.
The premise is the gap is where you are to where you want to be. Mm-hmm. And in that is nothing but disappointment, because you're up against an ideal. Like I want 100 centers. I want the thing. I want to change the industry. I want people. I want all substance use to not have to experience fucking ants and the bugs in the refrigerator. Like I want to make it so. I want to make this thing. I want to be so popular and so effective and so good that other programs have to go. And it's starting to happen. We better pick up our game, because we're losing clients to this guy down the street. Like I love that. I win. You know what I mean? Like that was my goal from the get. I'm not going to work with every patient out there. You know what I mean? Like right. People need to go elsewhere. So if I look at where I'm at to where I want to be, I feel disappointment, because it's like, oh shit. But the gain is to go from where I'm at to where I came from.
To note the growth is
absolutely,
yeah.
And then you're in gratitude.
So for me, it's like, dude, I started at Whataburger parking lot.
Yes.
Today, I'm sitting in a room in a beautiful studio, having a conversation with a guy that I get to reconnect with, who we had great first interaction. You know, there's cool energy. I get to hear your story. When I just sit with that, I'm like overwhelmed with emotion and elation around, dude, this is fucking badass. Like, this is what I get to do. I get to do this. Like I didn't wake up this morning feeling lucky. I wish I did, because I know I'm lucky. I know I'm fortunate. I'm one of those. I should be. I had a 20 plus year thing hanging over my head many, many years ago. Mm-hmm. And I want to wake up every single morning and just feel like I'm blessed. And I don't. I wake up every morning and go, fuck. I got like my eyes are open, and then it takes me a minute. And I hate to admit that, because I feel like I'm supposed to be this thing for people, which is like, but that's not how my brain works. I know what I have. I know how amazing the work we're doing is. I know how cool my life is, but I don't wake up every morning a ray of sunshine.
Right.
You know, I got this thing, and I have to talk to guys like you, and I have to stay vigilant around opportunities. And you just gave me an opportunity today to sit with gratitude around being in your presence, hearing your story, feeling the honor and the privilege around that, as well as it allows me to focus on my experience and go, he's right. I needed to hear that from somebody. Like, God did this for me. Yes. It's amazing. Like, I'm blessed, and like, you've just changed my day. So that's not bullshit. That's like, it's like real stuff.
It's beautiful. So, vulnerability just breeds like connection. It's like so beautiful. This is grown men here, right? For the viewers.
And but being able to sit here and go and like tell the story, like I can think that sitting on my couch. There's not near as much gratitude around it until I get to say, this was like every nice detail in my life is God's grace and privilege that has my name on it. You know what I mean? Like, it wasn't talent or merit or whatever because I did something right. No, it's grace. It's grace. And I think like the price of grace is to, one, be grateful for it, and two, show somebody else where the grace comes from.
Yes.
Yeah, to carry it forward.
I love this.
That's it. I think that's the price.
Amazing, brother.
Well, Darren, man, I really appreciate you coming.
Thank you so much for coming on the show. Where could the viewers and listeners find you?
You guys can find me, my Instagram. I'm the Darren Hobbs on Instagram and TikTok. And I've got a podcast called the Die Sober Podcast that I co-host with my boy, Zach Livingston. And our web address is, we had to change it, thefirmaddictionconsulting.com.
Awesome.
Badass.
You guys heard it here.
Thank
Awesome.
you.
Thank you, brother. Yeah.
Thank you for connecting with us on today's episode of the Emotion Podcast, where we discuss all things mental health. Connect every week as we explore incredibly intimate stories of persistence and hope, delve into mental health education, and explore valuable resources. Available on YouTube, Apple Podcast, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. And visit emotionwellness.com for more information.